Hello and welcome to I Am Geek, and this is episode 131. I am Ryan. I'm joined by my brother Chris and our good pal Katrin, and we are back for another episode, and we're so excited because we have some special guests. Not just one, not just two. There's a bunch of guys that have come to join us today. We have not in studio, because we don't have a studio, because we're all over the place. We have the podcast Grim Grinning Guys, the Triple G's themselves. Way before Guy Fieri introduced Triple G's, these were the original OG Triple G's. They are here with us tonight, and we're just going to talk about podcasting, about Disney, about whatever we geek out about. So it's going to be one of those little hodgepodge episodes. But before we start talking, guys, welcome to I Am Geek. How you guys doing tonight?
We're great. We're great. Thrilled to be here. Honored to be here with the thousands of listeners and followers that you all have.
We were kind of taken back because we've never had an introduction like that, so we appreciate it.
Oh, thanks. I love to pump up the guests and get them all excited and then just.
It obviously worked.
Yeah, good.
Loose.
Good. We had the. I don't know. Do you know who Tim Tracker is?
Yes.
We had him and his wife on the show, and I did a big intro like that, and went into like the king and queen of YouTube in Orlando and all this stuff, and they're like, "Oh, we feel so good about ourselves now. This is excellent." So, I like to
Yes.
It's a gift.
It's a gift.
I may have to call and get you to do our intro every once in a while, just to make us feel better.
But so, I guess introduce each other, or you can introduce yourselves or whatever to our listeners.
My name is Matt, and again, we're all here in Middle Tennessee, small town, Centerville, Tennessee. I have a wife with two young boys, 6 and 3 years old, and as we were talking off air, I love Walt Disney World and professional wrestling.
Did they ask for a bio?
You didn't need a bio.
Well, that's who I am. So go ahead, Derek.
I'm Derek. I'm the angry one. If you've listened to our show, I'm sorry. And thank you for listening to someone else's show here.
You're positive about that. That was pretty good. I'm Craig. I'm I guess Mr. Nostalgia among other names that these guys give me. So we appreciate you guys having us on the podcast.
Well, thanks for being here. And they have a Disney podcast, if you don't understand it or by their name, Grim Grinning Guys, which is the Grim Grinning Ghosts of the Haunted Mansion, which is a ride at Disney. So there you go. So they're used to talking about all things Disney. So we said, how about tonight, since we are the show for the geek in all of us, we just allow you guys to geek out about whatever you want to, and we just talk. We talk about podcasts, and we talk about whatever we geek out. Maybe a little wrestling. We'll throw that in there. But we're just gonna talk tonight. So first off, how did you guys get into podcasting? Like, how did it all start for you guys?
You want to lead with that?
Sure. Well, a few years ago, Craig really encouraged me to go on a Disney vacation, and so I went. And then I encouraged Derek to go on a vacation, and he went because we're all relatively new to Walt Disney World. We started traveling in 2012, 2013. And then after years of helping other people plan their trips, we got together and said, there's not enough Disney podcasts out there. We need to start our own podcast. But we did feel that a lot of the Disney podcasts that do exist steer more toward kind of a favorable bias toward Disney.
They were way too positive.
Weren't necessarily honest with listeners. And we looked at it as took an approach of how can we help people plan trips? Can we give them sound advice? Can we be honest with it? And that's kind of where the show started, and it's evolved over time. But we got into this because we were helping several families plan their trips, and we thought, how can we help more? And we just we enjoy hanging out and talking Disney, kind of like you guys just enjoy talking about the geeky things that you choose to talk about.
We did. There were so many podcasts out there that are just about news, Disney news. Here's what's happening, and we try to we make it lighthearted. We have fun with it, but the main, like Matthew said, the main focus of our podcast is to help people go there and enjoy their trip, not to be miserable because they don't know what to do and stand in lines. And so we just try to help you avoid that and use some tips and things like that. So the big question we get all the time, probably you guys do too, how do you come up with new episodes? And sometimes it's a struggle, but then sometimes they just, take care of themselves and help us in the planning aspect of it.
That's cool. So since you did say at the beginning of that, you said that a lot of the Disney stuff that you heard was all like pixie dust and happy dreams, and you guys wanted to sort of look at the whole thing. I'll give you a Disney question to start with, and then we can move on to other stuff. If you're helping families and stuff, what's the one ride that you tell families, just don't bother? Just don't bother with that ride. You can all have different answers too.
Does that?
Are there age restrictions? See, this is how we do it. We do it kind of no kids, teenagers, and small children. How we look at things sometimes.
Well, I guess.
So,
I guess.
How about we answer it like that, Matt?
Sure.
With no kids, you do no kids. Craig, you do teenagers, and I'll do small kids.
Okay. So if I don't have any kids, I just say totally avoid Tomorrowland Speedway. Slow, pointless, uncomfortable,
Nauseating.
Yeah. The Magic Kingdom. So steer clear of that.
For teenagers, I'm probably looking at. Honestly, I'm probably avoiding a lot of Epcot. Besides Test Track, there's a whole lot over there that you could draw teenagers into. And they'll kind of run their own, do their own thing. So that's where I would say is there's really not a whole lot of.
Just a whole park.
Yeah, save your money. Yeah, we actually did that a few weeks ago. Weekend we went down. We went everywhere but Epcot. So.
We still got Soarin' too.
Well, yeah.
What about when the Guardians ride opens? So that would be.
And we'll go to Epcot.
Then you'll go to Epcot.
So with little kids, mine's kind of like Craig's. Is you're going to avoid anything where you might have to ride or swap.
Mm-hmm.
That would be Mine Train, Big Thunder, Splash Mountain, and you'll get to ride those again one day, but just not. Just not yet.
And the one, it's not a ride, but the one attraction we all steer people clear of is Up, A Great Bird Adventure.
The attraction.
It's so
that's what we fondly call it. Up,
Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey.
Yeah, and also you avoid the JAMMers anytime you can.
That's just Craig.
The anarchists.
The JAMMers are fine.
They're trying to take over the world.
I like the JAMMers.
Okay.
So maybe that answers the question.
Is there any rides that you absolutely just despise? That you're like, this should be removed from the park?
I like it. Small World.
Come on now. If it was up to Derek, they'd probably take out all the rides. Likes the attraction. If they could remove a ride. I tend to be, I don't know, I kind of like them all, but Tomorrowland Speedway could probably be done away with.
It about got done away with.
I'm surprised it's still there.
I don't know. That's a good one. I guess Aladdin, maybe.
Any spinner?
Yeah, because you just go with the It's the.
That's true.
Yeah, and that's something from our podcast too, guys. Is you won't hear us just doing the company line. We'll tell you like it is. I just got back, like I said earlier, from our trip, and I blasted the transportation because it is terrible. That's the one thing I wouldn't ride. That's one thing to get rid of at Disney.
Just get rid of.
Yes, the bus transportation is. Sorry, I'm so like Derek now.
Looking back, the show has made us very angry, and jaded, and negative overall.
Life in general.
Did you guys ride the Skyliner yet?
I did. Yeah, I liked it a whole lot. I thought it was really, really good. It's you're not getting anywhere in a hurry, but it's real peaceful. And it was in November when we went. Breeze was great. It wasn't hot, but it gives you a different look at the parks. So I really enjoyed it.
And I like to call that the sweat box of death.
I rode it. It wasn't that bad. It made me a little nauseous at one point, but
I stopped. Did it stop on you several times?
No, it just I got motion sickness so yeah, but it didn't stop. I was glad.
We rode it 3 or 4 times, but every time it stopped at some point, but not for a long period of time. Just kind of makes you feel uneasy, like, okay, we'll be hanging in here for a while, but it wasn't.
That's the reason why my wife doesn't want to ride it, because that might happen. She can get claustrophobic when she doesn't feel like she can get out of something. So I have a feeling when we go in October, it's she's not going to do it. And my son has decided he doesn't want to do it because of that. So
I'll ride with you.
I'm going to ride it and meet them at Epcot or wherever, because we'll be at Pop Century and we'll hit it. I'll hit it every time.
I'll come over and I'll ride it with you.
Thank you.
I have to say too, as it's sitting there and stopped, you do start noticing, wait, this is just one wire holding us up. How much is it? Start going through your mind.
Just don't think about it.
Yeah, don't think about it.
Well,
I have a question.
What?
You sorry to cut you off, but I've noticed a lot of your recent shows are about Star Wars. When you're thinking about Star Wars related things in the Disney parks, why don't y'all share what are some things you think they do really well Star Wars related, and some things that are maybe not so?
At the Disney parks?
Yeah.
I think we're getting their show. We're not interviewing them.
The interviewer has become the interviewee. I really love Galaxy's Edge and what they've done with it. I was hesitant. Like, if you go back and listen to our shows, before it opened, I was sort of hesitant. I'm like, I don't know. It's wait and see. But when I walk through it, I fell in love with it. And I haven't even been on Rise of the Resistance yet. And I've stayed away from all videos, everything about it, because I want to be surprised. But what I liked about it, yes, I would love to visit Tatooine and Hoth and stuff. But what I like about it is I made it into my own Star Wars story. And I played it up, and I talked to the stormtroopers, and I talked to Vi, or whatever her name is, I went on a mission with her through Galaxy's Edge to help the Resistance, and I did the lightsaber, which was one of the coolest experiences I've ever done in a Disney park, was building a lightsaber. As far as stuff that I think before Galaxy's Edge, when they would do the Star Wars weekends, those were sort of hit and miss. And I guess that's why they stopped doing them. But, I think it's going to have to be a wait and see about even Galaxy's Edge with what Disney's going to do with Star Wars, since they basically own Star Wars now and everything that deals with it. Because they made Galaxy's Edge. We talked about this on maybe the last show.
Yeah,
they made it in a set time period where they can't move forward and they can't move backwards.
Yeah, they did a really great job. They made a book and series of comic books about Galaxy's Edge and the Black Spire, the Outpost, whatever, the 4 names that it has, whatever it is. And it's really interesting, but it's also stuck in a time period, so it I don't know, it's just stuck. They've kind of painted themselves in a corner in a way. So
yeah, which I talked about.
But it's still cool.
Yeah, I talked about our last episode. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to download onto my phone the Emperor Palpatine's. Have you guys seen Rise of Skywalker? I don't want to ruin anything for you.
Yeah.
It's a little spoiler, but I'm going to download his message throughout the galaxy and then take it there and play it for the Resistance spy and be like, I found this information, and so. I'm like, Palpatine's alive. You must know this.
They will kick you out of the park.
But I think they've done a lot right. But I think opening Galaxy's Edge with only one ride, was a little. I know why they did it, because they want you to come back, and that's what I'm doing. But yeah, I would have liked to seen more. I think Star Wars, could have been its own park if you want to think about it, because there's just so much there. But so it's a good direction they're going. We'll see where it goes.
I haven't been to the park in a while myself. I usually go on the cruises. I just love Disney
Because
cruises.
he's an old man.
Because I'm an old man. I have to go
Loves the
sit by the pool,
shuffleboard.
get all the food I
Watch
can
movies in the room.
watch movies in the room. It's relaxing. The one thing I like that they did for the park though that I don't really like, which I understand why they did it, is like they sell like the robes and like all this costume stuff and everything, and then you can't wear them around.
Now they've relaxed on that a little bit. The only thing you can't wear now is the robe because of the hood. As long as your head is not covered, you can dress Star Wars, if you want to say that. You can't wear like a full fighter pilot, fighter pilot outfit, you know. But you can
Disney bound,
Star Wars Disney bound.
I still wish. I mean, I get why they don't do that, but I mean that would be if you're going to go any place and do that and dress up as a character, like that's where you would go do it at.
Yeah. Well, when I was there last time, I saw a dude in the full Palpatine robe, like just walking through the streets like he owned the place.
Oh, that's old man Disney. He still wanders around every now and then. I gotta.
Robert Iger.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Star Wars bound on this next trip, Disney bound. So we'll see if I get kicked out. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a good point. They build it as it's a place to play and be in Star Wars, which they've got the Play app, which I kind of turns me off because that's the whole thing about going on a vacation. You want to get away from your technology, and a lot of times, we do. I want to try and enjoy it all, but they really encourage you to be on it in there. But at the same time, you can't fully get into it if you can't dress up. But it sounds like they're getting lax on it, so maybe that's getting better.
Yeah, well, the whole reason that they couldn't, because originally you were supposed to be able to wear the robes and stuff,
right?
And the police department said you can't.
I mean, it makes sense. It's just, you know, you also can't have your lightsaber out and be playing with it, you know, and
you're not supposed to, but
you know, yeah, which is totally understandable. But it's still like when you start thinking about, and it's just like almost anything you buy at Disney, it's like, why did I buy this? I can't even. What am I going to do with this?
I play with my lightsaber all the time.
Well, I know, but when you're at Disney,
good night, everybody.
Yeah. I'll be interested when the new hotel. When the new hotel opens, how they do with the costuming.
Oh man, yeah. That's I think that where everybody's going to get to play is in the hotel, because that's what that's for. Is you take on a character and be part of the story.
But this is about you guys. This is about the Grim Grinning Guys, and we're just sitting here blabbering.
We're loving it.
Hey, I never play with my lightsaber in public.
Only in private.
Family show.
Oh man, family friendly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to switch gears a little bit here. Now, Katrin listens to you guys like all the time.
Yeah, devoted listener.
I'll be honest that I haven't listened to you guys a lot, but I have listened to some episodes, and I got some beef.
Uh-oh.
Or should I say some fish to bring up. Katrin may know what I'm talking about. I listened to an episode of you guys, the greatest or the best place to eat in the Magic Kingdom.
Oh,
And you guys picked the fish place.
Columbia Harbor House.
Why did you pick?
What is your pick?
The best place to eat in the Magic Kingdom? Like fast food?
Counter service, yes.
Counter service? Pecos Bills.
That's not bad.
It's better than the Harbor House.
I think it fared well, right, guys?
I don't remember.
Yeah, we're a big fan of Columbia Harbor House. The setting, the theming, the food itself, high quality.
Pecos Bills kind of loses it with the theming. I don't think it's very well themed.
It's Mexican food sitting, Mexican sitting.
In Frontier.
And you can take a fork and a spoon and just sit at the fixings bar. Yeah.
Get the
And
fixings
nothing-
bar.
idea.
I think I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding with you guys, but to me, I was like, well, what if you don't like fish?
All the things we said. That's the one. That's the one thing.
We're glad you listened to more shows then.
I listened to a few. That was it was just funny. I'm like, what? Like it was funny because I was like, I remember I was washing dishes while I was listening to it, and then you guys got to the end. And I'm like, wait a second, did I just hear that right? Did they just pick the Columbia Harbor House?
Hey,
Yes.
we can tell you this too. We actually did a battle royale of Disney Springs eating establishments, and probably 90% of the places we haven't ate.
Oh yeah.
Who won? Not to give it away, but who won that one?
Well, there's a reason why we've not eaten it.
What did we? Raglan Road?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
But that was one you all had eaten at the regular.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Many times.
Big fans of the round.
Raglan Road's cool. That bar they brought over from Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool place.
That's why it's number one.
I like the boathouse, but that's just me at Disney Springs.
I just like to go get Dole Whip.
Yes. Anyways, so what do you guys besides Disney? What do you guys geek out about?
Well, we talked about some of this off air. I used to geek out a lot about professional wrestling. Watched it a lot with my dad growing up, and on into college, and haven't the last few years, but we talked some about that.
Got a favorite wrestler?
Probably all-time favorite is Shawn Michaels
Oh, sexy boy.
in terms of in-ring work, and then I'm a huge fan of The Rock. I think he's the best mic man of all time. So, big fan of those guys. So, I guess I used to geek out about that a lot more, and now not so much.
I used to geek out about Star Wars movies until Disney.
Yeah.
Now I've liked all the Disney Star Wars movies except for one.
That's funny because I've only liked one.
Which one did you like?
This last one.
Oh, really?
And like, yeah, and liked is very.
You didn't like the first three?
It was been very.
4, 5, and 6? You didn't like it?
He's talking about the Disney
The
ones.
one-
Oh, the Disney. I'm sorry.
I like it. I hated episode 7 and 8. So
Wow.
7, if I wanted to watch episode 4 again, I'd go watch episode 4.
Guys, have we told you that Derek is our negative one on the show?
Eric likes nothing.
Yes.
No.
There's nothing he likes.
I really enjoy Rogue One.
Oh,
There
there
you
you go. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I don't.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know why I don't like it.
He's saying he likes something.
Have you, since you like Rogue One, have you done the Void at Disney Springs?
I've not.
Oh, you got to do the Void.
Oh, yeah.
The Void
Oh,
is
Derek.
amazing.
Oh,
Next time you're there, it's one of the coolest things to do on property.
Sure.
It's like you're in Star Wars. Like it's like you become a stormtrooper, like dressed as a stormtrooper. You can look it down in your hands. You have the stormtrooper armor on. You get to pick up a blaster rifle and shoot stuff. It's cool. It's a cool thing.
The only downside is you have to go to Disney Springs. So
I'm good because they have one in Dallas, and I can go.
Yeah.
that's not. I'd rather go to
I
Dallas.
don't think they have those.
The Void, is it kind of like the NBA experience?
It's
No.
it's virtual reality. So you like get a headset, you get like a vest that you put on, and like the vest, like if you get in like blaster fights with other stormtroopers, and you'll get hit, and you'll actually feel like it hitting you, like
Yeah.
there'll be like buzzes and stuff on your chest.
I don't think I could do that because I'd want to roll on the floor. And I'd probably hit someone with my violent tendencies.
Just do a solo mission.
Yeah.
My question is, do you actually hit anybody with your blaster? I mean, are you able to actually hit somebody with a stormtrooper blaster?
Oh, well,
The
yeah, because
Mandalorian reference.
because you're not an actual stormtrooper, so you can hit. Now,
Yeah.
no.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you're with the rebels and
Yeah, so you can-
infiltrating.
Oh,
So
good.
you're a good shot. So you mentioned NBA experience. Has any of you guys been there?
No.
We have not.
It's
Not-
I have not gone, but I went into the store right when it first opened, and it was every employee in there was so desperate. They're just like, please come over to the experience. Please come. And we're like, no, we don't want to. And they're like, oh, come on, it'll be fun. And we're like, no, it won't. We're good.
That's a strange business decision they made there. I still don't understand it.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't get it either. I guess whoever gave them money, they said, sure, you gave us a lot of money. Here you go.
Yeah.
They took a failed business at Universal City Walk and put it in Disney and made it bigger.
Yeah. That's great business sense there.
Are they getting a restaurant too?
They're supposed to, I think, at some point. I think
That
so.
sounds like it'll go over as well as the NASCAR Cafe did.
I mean, you can dunk chicken nuggets.
Dribble
Wonder
them
if
off
they'll-
there.
Wonder if they have Dunkaroos there.
Oh, they should have done.
That'd get me in there.
They need to bring Dunkaroos back. I don't
They
think
do.
have them anymore. Those
Love
Dunkaroos.
those.
So you guys have any besides Disney stuff? Any favorite movies?
Gone with the Wind.
Well,
There we go.
we mentioned in our episode anything that has John C. Reilly in it
That's you, Craig.
or Will Ferrell.
Ferrell,
You know,
yeah.
just any.
Oh, so
I'm-
you're a
I'm-
big fan of the Sherlock Holmes movie?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. You could just call that Step Brothers Part 2, basically. Is what you call it.
With
That's
fake
what-
English accents.
They almost killed the Queen. That was not very good.
Don't spoil it.
Oh,
Craig.
sorry.
What? Oh no!
Oh, I can't watch it now. Dang
Oh
it.
well.
I'm a huge fan of the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy. Those are my probably 3 favorite films.
Ah.
Love what he did with the superhero genre, and I like superhero movies pretty much in all shapes and sizes. So
If they were to make if they had made a fourth Christopher Nolan Star Wars Batman, what would you have wanted to have happened?
oh gosh, I never really thought about it. I thought it ended fittingly. I mean, I guess you would have taken Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character and let him kind of go and take on some of the new villains. I've always been interested in what his plans for the trilogy were had Heath Ledger not died.
Yeah.
Joker was going to be a big part of the third one, but I mean, I thought the beginning, middle, and end of that entire trilogy was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I kind of like the fact that it did come to an end. I like that he didn't want to just keep making more movies. So I like all Christopher Nolan films. I'm looking forward to the one coming out this year. Yeah.
Oh,
Tenet.
Tenet.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Michael Keaton was a perfect Batman, too.
He was a good one.
I'd love for them to do a Batman Beyond live action with Michael Keaton as an old Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be good.
So good.
And they forget Val Kilmer was Batman. That's
Val Kilmer.
That's the forgotten.
Oh no, can't forget that.
Good old-
I want to forget George Clooney, but I can't.
Yes.
What do you think about the newest Batman? Twilight guy.
Sparkly guy.
Robert
guy.
Pattinson.
I mean, I think the Batman character kind of has a history of picking people you wouldn't expect to be Batman. Ben Affleck, and I thought he did a really good job. That was until Joss Whedon took over that Justice League, and I don't want to get started into that. But I mean, I'm excited to see where they go with it. It sounds like it's going to be a pretty unique take on the character. So I'm hopeful. Trying to be hopeful, unlike Derek.
Yeah.
He doesn't like his Batman sparkly.
Well,
We can't really hide at night that way.
Yeah.
Well, it's only when he's in the sunlight.
Oh,
Chris.
he only
Well, that
sparkles
makes
in the
remember.
sunlight. That's
Okay,
why
so
he's
just Bruce Wayne will be sparkly.
yeah. Bruce Wayne's sparkly, but he's the Dark Knight. That's why he's the
Give it
Dark.
away.
Okay, that makes sense.
Still feeling it.
So I take it you guys loved. You loved the Avenger movies.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Early on, I felt a lot of the Marvel movies were just extremely repetitive. But around the time of Winter Soldier, I think for me it kind of clicked, and I started enjoying them a lot more. And I thought the last two Avengers films were outstanding. I really enjoyed them. We did a show about like our one movie review show was about Avengers Endgame. I enjoyed it.
There's a rumor going around that that Thanos was actually a pawn of one of the Avengers. Did you see this? Yeah, I need to look that up.
What, of Ant-Man?
Yeah.
Oh, Ant-Man.
Knew it.
I love Ant-Man. He's so funny.
You can't trust that smile.
I saw that somewhere, but of course I don't have it pulled up, so I can't tell you what they were actually talking about. So there you go. Look it up.
No. No.
So what else? Katrin, what do you got for us?
We talked about wrestling earlier, and I don't think we've said on the show that you and I will be going to Royal Rumble.
We are.
I've never been to a major wrestling event. The only other wrestling event real wrestling event, I guess, besides local hometown wrestling, you and I went to in Johnson City, and that's probably the only other house show.
Was it a Nitro?
No, I think it was just a house show.
I know. I went to a Nitro.
Yeah, I don't.
And I worked at a bunch of the Smoky Mountain Wrestling events.
Yeah,
in Johnson City, which was really fun to see the behind the scenes of those.
I'm sure.
That Rock and Roll Express was still wrestling then. Well, they're still wrestling now, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. They're a little old.
They'd always walk into Freedom Hall, was where they had it. Little tipsy already.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, the only wrestling match I've ever been to, I mean, big time like that, WWE or whatever it is now. We were watching and really into myself, my wife, my 2 kids. We were watching, enjoying it. My wife was sitting there the whole time, and then when John Cena came out, she stood up and started paying attention. So I hadn't been back to another scene. I felt underwhelmed and inadequate, and so we haven't been back since.
Didn't motivate you to hit the gym?
It did not.
No.
That reminds me of when Endgame came out. It was on Twitter. This guy said that he took his wife to see Endgame, and then she was so excited to see Thor, and then when he walked out all chubby, that she went, "Oh, gross." And he was like, "Oh, great! Now I know what my wife actually thinks about me."
That's the greatest Thor ever.
Yeah,
overweight. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, but we are going to Royal Rumble, which is going to be interesting because they're doing it in the baseball stadium, the Astro Stadium. So it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, the layout's a little. Yeah, weird because just a baseball field is not square, right? It's a diamond, right?
Yeah,
well,
I guess which is a square, but
all I can think of, they did it in 2019 in Seattle.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I told you guys he remembers everything.
So y'all have a bunch. I guess they'll have a bunch of chairs and seats on the actual field there to get closer. But I feel sorry for the people that are way out in center field or something like that.
I know. We're going to be by the ramp, I think, is where we're at.
All right, that's where you want to be. It's where all the contestants come down.
Yeah, all 30 of them.
They should just make the ring bigger.
That would be interesting,
ring.
Especially with a Royal Rumble. It'd be really cool.
Just toss them all in then.
Yeah,
You'd have to get more. I guess. But
Imagine throwing somebody off the ropes, how long it would take them to get to the other ropes.
I mean, just like someone running from like first base all the way to like third base, like really like outfield, like running and then jumping and then clotheslining.
I listened to a very good podcast episode the other day of it's a podcast called Stuff You Should Know. And I don't know if you guys have listened to it, but it's really, really good. It's one of the top podcasts on Apple, but they had an episode that was live in Florida somewhere, but they talked about Andre the Giant. And it was a really, really interesting story and talked about the Battle Royale. And there's a trophy they give out every year at that event that they have the Andre the Giant, whatever they call it. But that was a really good episode if you like the wrestling.
If you like,
I love
or like history. I mean, it was just really interesting hearing where he came from and just how intelligent he was. And one of the things they talked about was the disease or whatever that he had that ended up taking his life, I guess. But that they could have fixed him, or he denied it twice. He went to 2 different hospitals, and they could have removed this tumor off of somewhere on his body. I can't remember where it was, but it affected his pituitary gland. And if they said, if we can remove that, you'll live a lot longer. Otherwise, you're going to die when you're 50. And both times he said, nope, I'm good. But he had a rough life because everybody's staring at him all the time. Nothing fits. He has to, when he rides in a plane, like, can you fit in a airplane bathroom? Try being Andre the Giant, But so it's very good.
HBO had a really good documentary.
Yeah,
from a little over a year ago, I think.
Yeah, they mentioned that as well. It's
a good
interesting stuff. Yeah. So
if they were going to make if they were going to make a movie of the Grim Grinning Guys, who would play the Grim Grinning Guys in the movie?
John C. Reilly.
All 3? He's playing all 3?
All 3 parts. It's a one-man show.
That's great.
Solo state act.
Yeah.
It'd be the one where that meme of him shaking he's got those glasses on with fuzzy hair.
Yeah.
That'd be the one. Well, that's a good question. Who would play the Grim Grinning Guys?
Probably Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly, and Johnny Depp.
Jacques Sparrow.
Yeah.
That's Sean Connery playing.
Who would Sean Connery playing Jack Sparrow?
We have a lot of voiceover work, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not as good as y'all.
Oh, no.
What do you mean? Pip, pip, cheerio? Oh, wait. That's pretty good, right?
Oh,
that's spot on.
Good Sean Connery impersonation that we could hear. We'd love to hear it.
Oh, Chris could do one.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Your best. Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home with the prom queen. It's from The Rock. I don't know. That's the only line of his I know.
Can you say, go home and sleep well?
Go home and sleep well.
There you go.
I have a joke for you. What time does Sean Connery go to Wimbledon? Tennis.
Oh, God. This episode's either going to get a lot of listens or like none.
The problem with us is our Sean Connery is based upon the Saturday Night Live Jeopardy Sean Connery.
Yeah.
That's our problem.
I'll take Schwartz for $500.
That's S words.
Saber's an S word.
It begins with a bloody S.
Speaking of Jeopardy, like that segue, we're doing a live show. I'll plug that before we forget. A live show January 25th at the Secret Group in Houston from I just lost the time.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Yeah.
The same weekend as the Rumble, so it worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
That I'll be there. So
we're doing. It's called a Battle Royale with Cheese, because that's what we do on our show. So we're going to do a live show of that, sponsored by Comic Palooza, the comic convention here in Houston. So if you're in the Houston area, or not, if you're in like South Dakota, because we got a lot of listeners there.
No, we have no listeners.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Or Alaska or Hawaii. I told the guys earlier today, I said, I think they've banned us in those states because we still have no listeners from the Dakotas, Hawaii, or...
That's the only states we're lacking. North Dakota, South Dakota, Hawaii, and Alaska.
Because I've been banned there.
Wyoming
and Alaska.
Yeah. What's wrong with Alaska? They don't have anything to listen to podcasts?
They got nothing else they're doing. I mean, come on.
Thought we'd at least get like a polar bear or something to listen to. But yeah, come on down to the secret group. That's what it's called, where they're hosted at. January
really secret.
25th. Yeah, you can find out more information on our social medias and then at comicpalooza.com. Anyways, that's our plug for the night, I guess. Not a sponsor. I guess it is a sponsor. I don't know.
Kind of. Well, yeah. For that event, it is. I guess.
It is a sponsor. Yeah.
Sure.
It is a sponsor.
We got a sponsor.
But they don't pay us.
They don't pay us anything.
What's the sponsor thing you speak of?
That's what happens when you have listeners.
Oh, okay.
Now here's the thing. Here's what most people. This is what people always ask me. This is a good podcast question. People always ask me, "Oh, how much money do you guys make doing this?" And I always go, "Oh, $0." And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, you have to. In order to make money with the podcast, you have to have at least 2,000 listens per episode on a continual basis, in order to just get a sponsor to look at you." So if you're wondering about podcasting out there, that's what I've learned, that if you want to make money, you're probably in the wrong business.
To do something different.
Yeah, you should do something different. Wait, do you guys feel the same?
Yeah, it's definitely not a business. It's a hobby we are passionate about. That's why we're here.
Yeah. Now, if you get famous in like another realm, then you can make money in a podcast.
Yeah. Conan O'Brien does a podcast. I'm sure he makes money on his podcast.
Yeah. Joe Rogan.
We're not getting popularity.
Ron Burgundy, he has a podcast.
Yeah. So let's go get famous doing something else, and then we'll make money on the podcast.
Yeah, it's nothing we would like to pay the bills with, but we do it just because we enjoy doing it. But it, like you said, it's not I don't even know how we go about getting enough sponsors. It is more listeners, like you said, that you have. That's how you get the people that want to sponsor you. But we've never even thought about sponsors because we just know it's not really a possibility. We just enjoy doing what we do.
Yeah. Or you could just make up sponsors. I mean, we do that sometimes on our show.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds fun.
That's our running joke.
That's our running joke. Yeah.
Their tagline is always the Fresh Maker.
Yeah. So no matter what it is, like tonight, we're sponsored by Applebee's, the Fresh Maker.
No, that's not right.
No, that's
what I'll say.
Yeah.
We had a sponsor once that they made these snacks that you eat to help you go to sleep, and I think that lasted 3 episodes.
Yeah, snooze snack.
It was a kid that we knew from school. And he was trying to.
The snacks work. How about it? They did help me sleep.
Wait,
they're no longer in production.
Hold on.
Are these legal?
Yeah,
snacks?
it's a snack that makes you go to sleep.
Yes, it's like a little granola.
I've seen them in.
I think those are called a Ruthie. I'm pretty sure what those are. That's called.
That's why we couldn't get anywhere.
Can't sell drugs.
Here, kid, eat this cookie. 4 hours later, I woke up in a bathtub surrounded by ice.
Where's my kidney? Go to Candy Mountain, Charlie.
Oh man.
But there's also the way of the Patreon, right?
Patreon.
And I've thought about that, but I don't know. It's like I still feel like you have to have a lot of listeners for to make sense. But
just think if we had one listener join Patreon, we could be making $1 a month.
Yeah.
Wow. How do you split that 3 ways?
$1 divided by 3.
I think a lot of people that do have sponsors and that do this and do Patreon and things like that ends up paying for the services like the hosting, and the bandwidth and all that, and they're still not in it to make money. It's just still a hobby, And of course, there are some that obviously that is what they do is they podcast, and it's a radio show essentially. I think that's one of the things that attracted me to podcasting and to join up with these guys was
that I was waiting for the word he was going to choose.
But it was I like listening to talk radio, and as a kid, I always wanted to be a radio DJ, or a lot of people did, I guess. I'm not very good at it, but I always enjoyed dreaming about that and being part of it. So, no.
Even in college, remember the mixtapes that we would make?
No, what are you talking about?
We made the tape, and it was like us introducing stuff, and then we'd do a song. You don't remember this? I still have the tape around here somewhere. I'll find it.
I think he ate one of those cookies and forgot about it.
I don't remember.
You don't remember that? We did it at the BSU. I think we even did it for Jennifer.
Probably. Wow.
I found it. I found it somewhere, but I don't know where it is now. I'll have to find it. Anyways.
No, the only thing I remember recording like that, well, besides our albums, but the Wake Up song. Do you remember the Wake Up song?
Yeah. Oh, you want to sing a little Wake Up song?
And no, I don't. But I made a CD of that, and it was a White Elephant gift, and I sang it in different languages, and it was super offensive nowadays, and but everybody thought it was the funniest thing ever. So,
what was offensive about it? Could you sing a little bit of the offensive part?
It wasn't the words that were said, but it was the accents that I chose, and it would just be super offensive today. So I can't do it anymore.
Oh,
but it was funny.
Now in Spanish.
Wake up, oh. Yeah. Anyways, inside jokes are funny.
Yeah, we were in a band together in college. That's how we sort of became friends. So if that makes sense. That helps out a little bit. What were we talking about?
The money that's made is made more in YouTube.
Yes.
Blogging
and things like that more than podcasting. But I'm one that I like to listen more than I don't have the time to sit and look at a bunch of videos, so I'd rather listen. Out doing things.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you could, with YouTube, if you could lock your screen on your phone and listen to YouTubes, I think I could get into some of them more just to listen to them. But they are very visual, so it really doesn't work out too well. But yeah, I think I like to listen more than I do.
I like to listen too, but it's hard to, especially with the age my kids are, to find podcasts that I can listen to with them in the room, because there's not a ton of family friendly podcasts out there, and so
we thought ours was, and somebody told us we got too loud and scared their kids.
but I commend you guys on doing that. That you keep it family friendly, and then we try to do the same. Sometimes we'll
have innuendos,
but
mostly Ryan, really.
No, what?
We all do it. We're all guilty.
If you do want to support I Am Geek, you can check out our t-shirts at shop.spreadshirt.com/I Am Geek for all your t-shirt and apparel needs. In fact, we're wearing some right now.
The
Fresh Maker. We need a Fresh Maker t-shirt. Chris, why don't we have a Fresh Maker t-shirt?
That's probably copyrighted.
No.
That's never stopped us, guys. So.
But cool. Do you guys get any? Do you use a lot of like Disney music or?
We use some background tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we find it on YouTube and rip it off every episode.
And of course, we use Grim Grinning Ghost song as our intro and outro.
Oh, okay. That's right. I remember that. Well, cool.
And we've used other songs. It's Raining Men.
Raining Mail.
That's it.
People's Court.
Oh, yeah. People's Court. Jeopardy. Anything popular in the last 40 years.
40 years.
I've actually said this to us before we play something. Would they sue us? And they were like, we ain't got nothing anyway.
No, yeah, we not even.
Well, cool. Well, do you guys, anything else you guys want to talk about, geek out about, or?
We just appreciate y'all having us on the show. Like I said, y'all are big time, and we're just talk to other podcasts.
We think of you guys as big time.
Oh, you're too kind. Too kind.
We're like, if only we could be as big as them. We say that every episode.
I bet you. I bet. Yes.
Or every fourth.
We've been very impressed though with your guys, your listenership and how you rein them in, and it's very impressive. You guys are doing a good job. Don't give it up. Keep plugging along.
We have a good time. Again, that's what it's all about. Just kind of getting together and talking about Disney and trying to help some people along the way. But the further we take in the show, the more it's just kind of an opportunity for us to kind of goof off and have some fun.
And probably the biggest thing, and I think you guys do it too, just don't take yourself too serious in podcasting.
Yes.
Yeah.
We make fun of ourselves. We say we don't have any listeners, and we just say, it's a wonder we're still able to be, anybody's even listening to us at all. Just stuff like that. So I mean, it's just, we just have
that also has a grain of truth. So.
Yeah, that's the key to life. Don't take yourself too seriously.
No.
Just have fun.
Because nobody else does.
Yeah, nobody else does. Now, we did do an episode with Grim Grinning Ghosts. That's where I said Ghosts. Grim Grinning Guys that you could find on their podcast that should be out probably now. If you go over there now, whenever you're listening
Whenever
to
this is.
Yeah, whenever this is. It'll be on there. And we talked about sort of the Mount Rushmore of Disney classic animated films. And let me tell you, Chris did not get it to begin with. He picked movies that were not in the canon, and we had to correct them. So you definitely want to listen to that.
One movie. And technically, it's a Disney movie.
And it's this form of animation, right? I mean,
And it's animation. There you go.
So you'll have to go over and listen to see what that movie was. That's just how I was timing it. But you can find Grim Grinning Guys is pretty much anywhere, right? Anywhere you listen to podcasts?
Yes. Apple Podcasts, we're on Podbean, and
Lots of other places we don't know
lots of other
about.
places we're not even sure of. So.
Yeah.
Pirated everywhere.
Are you guys on Spotify?
No idea.
No,
You have to ask.
I do not think we are.
I can tell you right now. Talk amongst yourselves.
if you aren't, if you're not, you can. There's a form you can fill out. It used to be that it was very hard and you couldn't find the form, and then they made it easier, and it's not too bad. But yeah, there's a lots of those things, and there's a lot of ones that pull them in, like you said, that you don't know that you're on, and it's kind of neat. It's like, oh wow, we're on this. We didn't even submit it to there, but
I don't think you guys are on there.
Oh, you need to be.
Yeah,
I guess.
Broadcast.
I don't. Yeah, that's the only way to get to Alaska is to be on Spotify, I think.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't think we get that many on Spotify, though.
I don't know. I need to check. Yeah, it's hard.
Since being featured on Podbean, most of our listens have come through Podbean. Now it used to be all Apple, right? But more we started getting more through Podbean.
Thank you, Podbean. We love you.
Yes, thank you, Podbean. The fresh maker.
The fresh maker.
Not a sponsor
yet.
Yeah.
I was going to throw that in. Well, thank you guys again for joining us and having a good time with us on I Am Geek.
Been fun.
Yeah, you're welcome back anytime. And hopefully, maybe I'll run into you guys at Disney. Take a picture of this face.
Take a screenshot.
I mean, it's posted on a lot of walls.
Yeah,
so
Disney.
Yeah.
You see this guy.
Alert.
Alert.
You'll be over to the Tangled restroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably be in Hollywood Studios most of the time that I'm there, since I'm there for a short time. But if you're around, let's meet up. I'll be there
I'll be
with
there.
Tyler Dean.
I'll be there Thursday morning.
All right. I fly out like Thursday night.
Oh, I'll be there Thursday morning at 7, and then I have to leave there and be at Magic Kingdom by 8 for Keys to the Kingdom tour.
I'll be there Thursday most of the day. We don't. Our flight comes in. We don't get there for road trip, but I'll be there most of the day.
Cool.
Cool.
All right. Well, hopefully I'll see you then. But for
All
our
right.
listeners, this has been episode 131. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back soon, probably with a trip report from the planet of Batu. Oh, that's just Hollywood Studios. Anyways, good night, everybody, and we'll talk to you next week on I Am Geek.